All right, peoples. Today we're going to check out Reason. And I know there's a push right now for Reason 14. However, I just wanted to check out Reason, and the only one that I have access to is Reason 13. Perhaps in the future, near future, I will get a copy of Reason 14 just so I can showcase it to you guys and cook up and all that. I haven't opened it up in a long time, but I think I might have said in my original video, this is not how Reason looked like when I first checked it out years ago. It had like this modular kind of setup and whatnot, and it wasn't, you couldn't record audio. It was like a separate app or something like that. But now, as we look at the UI, you can see you have a browse where you can browse all your one shots and anything else that you have set up to it. You can set up your mixer, so once we add more tracks, you got a mixer. You also have the rack, which is the main thing that I was just talking about earlier. You have the sequencer, which looks like this, of course, and then you have your devices. So all of the things that you can do in Reason is at the left side of the screen, and you can check out some of their effects too. So the general idea is to cook up with the stock sounds and see what we can come up with. Let's talk about the bottom half of the UI, which is the transport. And if you look at the transport, you have keys, groove, which I don't know anything about, the quantized record and your quantized settings. I love that. And then you even have sync mode now, and it supports Ableton Link, which is cool, and many other things too. And then of course you have your timestamp or your song position. And then you have your metronome options where you can turn the click track off, and then you can do pre-clicks, and then your BPM and your time signature. And I believe this is just rewind and fast forward, stop, play, record, typical stuff. You have something that I think is pretty unique, which is dub lanes, and you can see you can kind of record multiple takes, and then you can just chop it up within the UI. Then it says new alternate, which I have no clue of what that's about, but leave a comment below and let me know. All you Reason heads out there, excited for me. And then you have loop on and loop off, where you can set your loop points up here, and right now it's on a 4-bar loop. And then other things that I don't know about. The first thing on the list, I want to know if you can change the theme of this, because if you could change the theme, that'd be huge. Let's go into preferences here and take a little walk. It says it's linked to my Osio drivers for FL Studio. I can switch that out. I can switch to my Yamaha. I'll do that a little later. I don't want to mess up any audio or something like that, because it happens. And let's go over here, users interface. And the user interface has themes. You can change it to light to dark. So I'm assuming that it happens like after you reset or something like that. And then of course, you have your undo, paste, preferences, and everything is typical keyboard bindings. Like if you was to press Control or Command C, that will copy. And then of course, Command and Control V, that will be paste. So that type of stuff. So you have mouse and keyboard support. You can turn this off if you don't want it, but it clearly shows you, and this is set up like a gamer controller, or when you play like first person shooters. So WESDF, so WASD. One thing I would like to know is if you can set it up to where it can play certain chord progressions. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool, honestly. So if you want to know if it has VST support, this had VST support for quite a while. I mean, I gotta pull up a VST plugin. Hopefully I have one that will work or whatever. So let's just scroll. Melody Sauce 3 definitely works. So I can pull up Melody Sauce 3 right here. But I'm here for the racks. Let's go and pull up the drums, because I like to do my drums first. And this is Con Kit. And you can go to your rack screen and see it on the rack. You can also flip the rack so you can rewire stuff. That's the one thing that they did pretty cool, is have like this virtual modular kind of setup where you can rearrange things and make it sound weird. I have no clue how it works. The good news is the MPK Mini works as you would expect. It's already mapped out pretty good. I'm just sliding around right now because I got something under it. I have some drums over here. I'm gonna go through the drums. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be standard stuff where everything will play, and yeah, it plays. I'm gonna drag this over to Kong, and let's hit that. Ooh, I like that. So you can drag and drop WAV files or your audio files into Kong. 2, 3, 4. Uh-huh. Okay, not bad for our first try. Want to flip a sample, but I still need to learn how to do that. So I'm going to check out some of Reason's tutorials because they always do really good tutorials on that. Let's go ahead and mess with some of the synth sounds. I'm checking out Polytone and seeing what I can do with it. I like this sound right here, which is classic low strings. So basically it's a sawtooth with a filter on it. If I open it all the way up, I want to make it a little bit more nasally. Immediately notice that one thing, I usually gain stage. So if you go over here to your mixer, you'll be able to lower the volume of stuff. So let me go ahead and show you because it's all the way over here. You can lower the volume over here and you can add effects too, and even EQ, but it's bassline time. Let's try Monotone Bass synthesizer. I would like to point out anytime you can just click on one of your tracks over here and you can mess with the piano roll. It does have a fairly decent piano roll. If you have like a mouse or something like that, you can use the scroll wheel to get a closer look. That's very atypical. And I don't know if there's any tools or whatnot, but I'm just messing with it. Doesn't seem as intuitive as other piano rolls, but it's okay. I want to see some of the arpeggio stuff, if there's any arpeggiators. Let's see about Europa. What I quickly found out is that you have to go to the devices, and then you have a arpeggiator right here. It's a monophonic arpeggiator. Also, I don't like this sound that I picked. I think it's a little eccentric, so what I'm gonna do is just go through, reset it. One more last thing before I get into the biz here. Now I noticed the beat in itself doesn't have the thud that I would normally like, and what I kind of do to make my drums knock in here, it's very simple stuff, and it might not be open right here. So we're over here on Kong. I see it's the drum designer, and boy, when I tell you. So what we're gonna do is get rid of everything except for the drums here. And then let's go into the rack again. And from here, you will hit this drop down menu and add some gain. That is crazy. And now the drums hit like they supposed to. Now when I start to go and piece things together in the mixer, let's go with the bass. Now the bass is in its own lane. Lots of pros and cons. Pros for me, let's start off with a compliment sandwich here, or let's do a compliment sandwich. Pros for me, different DAW, different kind of feel. And I know I'm one of those people. Well, I'm not really one of those people because I like multiple DAWs. But if you're expecting FL Studio workflow inside of this, no. You can kind of expect Ableton Live workflow just a little bit if we're talking about the linear timeline, but we all know that's like a Cubase thing, or that's where the first time I've ever seen like a timeline like that, linear timeline. I like it. It doesn't feel exactly like them. Cons, or at least cons that I have just from messing with it since a few years ago. Piano roll experience not so much good. You know what I'm saying? I think if we were to rank piano rolls within a DAW, I think the best one will probably be FL Studio by a long shot. And then you probably have like Ableton Live or Cubase or something between that. I think it might be a little bit more confusing, but at the same time, you got to remember, I don't use this often. So, I have to develop a workflow and understand the concept of the piano roll for me to fully be able to judge it. Now, things that I would like to see changed. One thing, I was going through the presets and stuff like that. I noticed that there's no categories, so you can't pick, like, I don't know, if you wanted to pick pads. Like there's no pads category. If you want to pick leads, there's no leads category, and so forth. I could be wrong about that too. Let's keep in mind, I'm not a pro at this. But for me as a first time experience, it was kind of confusing, but and at the same time, great for the exploration type of vibe that I like about making music. Creativity, the exploration usually breeds to some decent creativity, even though my beat was kind of butt cheeks. Overall, though, I do think it's a very good DAW. I was one of the people that was very jealous of the Reason heads because all their sounds were very good, and this DAW does a great job of putting sounds together along with devices that are useful. Because I didn't use any third-party VST plugins, I only just pulled in like one shots that I enjoyed, from my sample pack, my sample library, and that's extensive as hell. Very good, very intuitive. MPC sample, I got to figure out how to make it work. I know it works with Reason and probably will work even better with Reason 14. And once that happens, where I have the ability to get Reason 14, I will check it out on this channel. But I do like it so far, so good, for sure.